Junaid Mattu is spokesperson of the J&K People's Conference. Aslam Ghani, senior advocate from Jammu. General G.D. Bakshi, editor-in-chief, Defence and Security. Maruf Raza, strategic affairs analyst, and Mahesh Jetmalani, senior advocate on this very important story of the open treachery of Hafiz Saeed. It was known about and spoken about, but now it's become official. There is no denying it. There seems to be a certain amount of, if I may say so, General Bakshi audacity with the way in which Hafiz Saeed is sharing a stage there with Yasin Malik. It's almost as if, it's a statement to the world out there and to the people of India that, we are going to take an Indian passport. We will remain Indian citizens. We will be supported by the Indian state. We will take Indian security. We will live off the taxpayer money of India and then go and abuse you along with the 2611 killer on the soil of Islamabad. Mr. Bakshi, you see the audacity as well?
Arnab, this is a truly preposterous state of affairs. The Indian state has been paying for the junkets of the separatists of the Hurriyat who have gone and met the same Hafiz Saeed. We have paid. Your and my taxpayers' money has gone to support those trips. The government of India has paid for this. And now we have this gentleman who has been, at the recipient of so many slush funds or whatever, and he has gone across and met the mastermind of 2611. Can there be a greater slap on our faces? I mean, we are a soft state. I mean, the whole world knows that. Do we have to look utterly ridiculous? This state of affairs, I do not see how long we are going to sort of tolerate this, how long public opinion is going to tolerate this. We have a very important state functionary, the chief minister, almost inciting people in the valley to sort of this thing, almost committing contempt of the Supreme Court. His father at least was balanced enough to sort of, take a more restrained view. But the pity is that we have this human rights brigade orchestra in this country which has been promoting these people, which has been providing them the shelter to go and do these nefarious activities. How long will the Indian nation state tolerate this?
Yep.
Is what beats me.
I'm with you. Now, Junaid Mattu, your spokesperson for the J&K People's Conference, Sajjad Lone's political outfit. I don't know if you saw this, Mr. Junaid Mattu, but Sajjad was in complete denial when he came on Newshour 2 weeks back. He said, no, this cannot happen. Your information is incorrect. These Hurriyat people don't meet Hafiz Saeed. They don't meet the ISI. Obviously, either political parties like yours know, or even if you know, you are scared of speaking the truth. That these links with the Lashkar groups and separatists is the biggest
when
open
Sajjad
fact.
Spoke,
yes, go ahead,
when
sorry.
Sajjad spoke to you, he did not deny it. He did not deny it.
He said your information is probably incorrect.
He does not have information. At that time, it was speculation.
Really?
What your sources would have been, it was speculation. And he clearly stated his position on it. We don't condone if Hafiz Saeed is involved in what he's claimed to be involved in. We have never condoned it as a party. And our stand on that is very clear. But your vocabulary will be your vocabulary and my vocabulary will be my vocabulary.
So describe it in, Junaid, describe this in your vocabulary. Let me present a situation that a mastermind of 2611 is not a diplomat, right? He's not a statesman. He's not an elected leader. I want to ask you today why the separatists need to go and bow down before him every time they go to Pakistan. Every time they go to Pakistan, why do the separatist leaders have to go and bow down before the killers of 2611?
In the confines of your TV studio, you're welcome to academically discuss Kashmir as a fantasy issue, but this is a
No, give me a new line. Give me a new line. Give me a new line. Answer the facts.
I will
answer the facts, Junaid Mattu. Junaid Mattu, listen to me. No, don't give me rhetoric. Give me facts. Yasin Malik by nationality is an Indian. He travels on an Indian passport. He engages with the enemy of the country on Pakistani soil. Why should his passport not be cancelled? Why doesn't Junaid Mattu of the J&K People's Conference have the courage to come out and say today that you must scrap the passport of Yasin Malik for what he has done? Arrest him under the Unlawful Activities Act.
Arnab, are the 7 million Kashmiris that have been put in a virtual siege in Kashmir since the hanging of Afzal Guru not Indian citizens? Are their rights not violated?
This reverse rhetoric. This reverse rhetoric won't work with me.
This is no rhetoric. This is a reality.
This is reverse rhetoric.
I don't care if it doesn't.
Reverse rhetoric doesn't work.
But there are realities of the conflict.
Yeah.
Mr. Sheikh Abdullah,
I'll tell you.
the patron of National Conference, has also met with people in the history of
Junaid Bhattu. You either don't. If you have decided that I will not answer questions on Hafiz Saeed, you can tell me. But if you are scared of answering questions on Hafiz Saeed, if you are worried about answering questions on Hafiz Saeed, if you fear about answering questions on Hafiz Saeed, you can say so.
Arnab, let me complete a couple of sentences. Give me that ultimate luxury of completing a sentence on your program. We do not condone. We know these people. The Hurriyat Conference leaders are moderate leaders. They have renounced violence. They act as a buffer. So treat them as
This was a moderate leader.
Between extremism and
Hafiz Saeed is a moderate leader. I fail to understand your definition of a moderate leader. Mahesh Jetbalani
is a moderate leader.
If Hafiz Saeed is the person who separatist leaders need an endorsement from, I'm very worried about them. Because Hafiz Saeed, Hafiz Saeed who tries to, Yasin Malik, who tries to be a symbol of human rights, has said not one word on the Human Rights Watch 2006 report, 71 pages, which writes about with friends like these, human rights violations in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, where the Pakistan military routinely tortures political activists and treats them like outlaws, political activists. Not one word is spoken by Yasin Malik. Is it because he's on their payrolls? I want to get in Mahesh Jetbalani at this stage. Mahesh Jetbalani, can we simply watch this and let Yasin Malik come back and lead a normal life once again on our soil?
Well, clearly not, Arnab. I mean, this is a most serious development. And, it shows a failure of our governments, both our government's Pakistan policy, which is already in shambles, and also its Kashmir policy. I mean, encouraging interlocutors to meet separatists. And now you know where the separatists' real connections lie. This is not just a question of abuse of his Indian passport. I think some serious interrogation has to be done as to what Yasin Malik's links are with Hafiz Saeed. How does he meet him? How often does he contact him? How did this meeting transpire? I think the Indian government has to do a lot of probing and interrogating on this aspect, because this is, and I don't know what signal Yasin Malik is trying to send out by meeting him. That itself, is a matter for deep speculation and contemplation. What is the message which he's trying to send out? Is he trying to suggest that if you hang a terrorist, albeit a Kashmiri terrorist, if you hang him, then he has a license thereby to go and meet an enemy of India on Pakistani soil? I mean, is that the suggestion he's making? Is this a veiled threat to the Indian government?
Oh, yes.
All these questions demand an answer, and I think the Indian government ought to interrogate him very soon.
When we exposed, I mean, at what time Sajjad Lone, came and said your information is incorrect, the second week of January, Shabnam Lone, Sajjad came on the show and he said your information is probably incorrect, that these Hurriyat leaders go and meet Yasir, Hafiz Saeed and all that. At that time I had asked Sajjad that, are you aware that according to several intelligence sources and media reports, these Hurriyat leaders who went to Pakistan were briefed by Hafiz Saeed on how they will target Kashmir around the time and before the Americans are leaving Afghanistan. This was reported. And once again, the Hurriyat leaders, including Sajjad Lone, said, no, this is not possible. You're talking from the confines of a TV studio. You know nothing, etc., etc. Now, I have these pictures of the 26/11 mastermind with Yasin Malik. And I'm absolutely sure that as a lawyer, you too will insist that under the Unlawful Activities Act, Prevention Act, Yasin Malik should be arrested the moment he comes back to India. Shabnam Lone.
First, let me give it to you, Arnab. You were right. I saw that program where my brother Sajjad appeared on Newshour. He said he did not know much about the Hurriyat. Obviously, he's not in the Hurriyat. He's not a Hurriyat. He could not have acted as a Hurriyat spokesperson. What is the agenda of the Hurriyat? Hurriyat must be knowing. Sajjad was not in a position to explain that. That is my
Well,
understanding.
Bilal Lone
of the
also
whole
went
matter.
on that trip.
But let me, yes, my brother Bilal also went on that
Yes,
trip.
that's why I'm saying.
But let me give it to you, Arnab. You were right. You were right. Yasin Malik has now admitted he has met Hafiz Saeed. Now,
No, he's
how
not
is the
admitted, he's been
Indian,
caught. He's not admitted, he's been caught red-handed on tape. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I give it to you. If he has been caught, let us assume it is like that. Now, question is, I saw a caption on Times Now, should India tolerate this?
Yeah.
Now, if that is so, the question is, why should you tolerate this? What are the options available under the legal system? What the Indian Union could have done? You know, way back, let us flip the pages of history. Janab Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah Sahab made a speech in the United Nations way back 40 decades ago, and then he visited Algeria. At that time, what they did, because he was seeking freedom for Kashmir, and he made a very strident speech in the United Nations. So what did the state of the Union of India do? He came back and he was arrested at the airport, and his passport was withdrawn.
No, I have a...
Tell me, this, no, listen.
No, there's no, what you're saying, you know, you have no relevance to the discussion at hand. The Jammu and Kashmir police, I can ask you as a counter, arrested the organizers of a seminar in April 2010 for planning to air the tapes of Hafiz Saeed. Why will the state not move to arrest a man who personally met with, had a rally and engaged in talks with the killer of 2611? You can try any attempt, Shabnam Lone, to obfuscate from this. But you're not answering my question.
You can, no, listen, now I'm answering your question. I think the best person to answer this question is Home Minister, Mr. Sushil Kumar Shinde. You should ask this question to the Chief of, from the Chief of Research Analysis Wing RAW. You ask this question from the National Security Advisor. Because if they know that he has met Hafiz Saeed, I agree as a lawyer.
Yeah.
It is not right for him to be traveling on an Indian passport and meeting the most wanted man in India. But that is a decision.
Why are you passing it? Why are you passing it?
Between the two countries.
Why are you passing it? You are very passionate on issues related to Jammu and Kashmir. I am surprised today, Shabnam Lone, on such an important issue.
No, why are you surprised?
You are completely passing the question. How come you don't have a view? And I asked Junaid Mattu also this.
I am not passing the question. I am not passing the question. You see, if Hafiz Saeed is the most wanted man in India, can somebody from the valley, we are people from the land of a trapped destiny, Arnab, do we have a say in that? I ask the mandarins in the state of New Delhi here.
Passing it to the state is convenient. You have a point. You do have a point, and I too ask this question, that what should the state do? But it's not, I also want to know today whether the same people who keep talking about, human rights violations by Indian security forces will have the internal confidence to take a position and say today that it is immoral to go and treat a person who is the killer of 2611, one of the world's most wanted terrorists, like a statesman, to share a stage with him, not speak one word while he abuses the Indian state, sitting 1 feet away from you, then come back on an Indian passport to Indian soil. I don't know where else it would happen. Maruf, what do you think?
Ministry of Home Affairs. That is the job of the Ministry of Home Affairs.
I wanted to know if all the people who take such a strong position on Kashmir otherwise will take a strong position on this, and clearly the answer is no.
We do not condone any terrorist act. We are all
Maruf,
in Kashmir. I'm speaking
opening up for debate.
We are against the perpetrators of 2611 people.
In fact,
people who killed innocent
in
people.
fact,
indulged in mayhem, indulged in terrorism. We are against terrorists. We are against terrorists.
In fact, I would go on to say that all those human rights activists, all the fellow travelers, all the sympathizers who think it's fashionable to speak in favor of Mirwais and Yasin Malik are also silent today. And I wonder why this selective silence is going on what is clearly the biggest news story of the day. Maruf, where do you stand on this?
Arnab, let me sort of bring out 4 points. The first is Hafiz Saeed is a globally recognized terrorist now, and this is the same man who read the Janaza Namaz of Osama bin Laden in absentia, what he's done in the case of Afzal Guru. It's sad that Afzal Guru should not be equated with Osama bin Laden, but by those who have got Hafiz Saeed involved in the whole exercise have now given Afzal Guru a further veneer of a terrorist. The second thing is, historically, we must go back. Remember, Hafiz Saeed's Lashkar-e-Toiba replaced the Jaish-e-Mohammed, which the Hafiz Saeed's Lashkar-e-Toiba replaced the Hizbul Mujahideen, which had replaced the JKLF as the front runner of Pakistan's proxy. Now they are following the logic of your enemy's enemy is my friend, and therefore there could be an emerging relationship between the Lashkar-e-Toiba and JKLF. And if this new meeting that has taken place in Pakistan is proof of anything, then we are looking at a new dimension. The third aspect is the government of India seems to be moving one step forward, one step back. We seem to be apologetic about the fact that on one side we are confronting terrorism, on the other side we are allowing the Hurriyat, who do not have a locus standi because none of them have contested elections. The Hurriyat seems to be self-styled leadership, which is being given a kind of respectability by the government of India by sending them as official delegations here and there. I've always opposed this thing. My whole philosophy is, you're either with us or against us. You don't like India, leave India.
Exactly.
Why stay in India? Why take Indian taxpayers' money and then go and abuse us outside? And it's a complete shame on the part of New Delhi to tolerate this nonsense. And the final point that I want to bring home to all those who support people like Hafiz Saeed, and this includes the kind of lackadaisical attitude of the government of India, that if you strongly feel that you are strong on terror, then don't just hang people in captivity. Go after those who are behind the entire terror mechanism that troubles the Indian citizen. And Hafiz Saeed needs a bounty on his head. If America can put a bounty on his head, why the hell don't we?
I really don't understand, Shabnam. You know, on Saturday you were so, and I'm going to Aslam Ghani, coming back to you. On Saturday you were even questioning the Supreme Court verdict on Afzal Guru. You took a position on that. Today I find that you are holding yourself, because the reality has come to strike everyone. Everyone that this nexus is being exposed. The nexus of terror is being exposed. The overground and underground members of it.
Position? What position am I avoiding?
Well, I would say so openly that not just you but political players.
Who has given Yasin Malik a passport? Who has given Yasin Malik a passport?
You want his passport taken back or not? What is your position?
Oh yes, of course then his passport should be taken back. It is up to the government of India. It is not with a common citizen. I'm saying that if people like you and Mr. Maruf Raza, I have got great regard for Mr. Maruf Raza. I watch his programs, and he says his position with a lot of panache and patience and passion for his country. Maybe I don't agree with him on many things, but I have got great regard for his views. Question is, who has issued passport to Yasin Malik? Isn't it the government of India which has issued him this passport? Now,
absolutely.
If you on Times Now have been able to air that video, so what is Mr. Shinde doing? Then he should have said that. Is he still saying that I will look into it? Now, if he has seen him sharing the stage with Hafiz Saeed, then government of India should have taken this issue up on their own.
I don't know. I have asked this question of the government. I'm also saying this, that whereas there are some sections of the media also which continue to carp constantly about everything that the Indian security forces do wrong, this story deserves as much attention. I want to go to Aslam Ghani right now. Aslam Ghani, for example, Omar Abdullah. I'd like to say today you're coming here as a senior advocate, not as a member of the National Conference, but the question must be asked you nevertheless, shouldn't it, Aslam Ghani, that Omar Abdullah questions the Supreme Court judgment and says that possibly it was, to satisfy the collective conscience of the country and not only the process of law that Afzal Guru was hanged. In other words, the Chief Minister is questioning a Supreme Court decision on which he has been consulted even before the hanging of Afzal Guru. Omar Abdullah is not saying a word on this. I'm sure he is aware too. I'm sure political parties are aware. I'm sure the PDP is aware. The NC is aware. Why this silence? Why this silence, Aslam Ghori?
Silence regarding what?
Silence regarding the meeting between
regarding
Hafiz
what,
Saeed
Arnab?
and Yasin Malik. The killer of 26/11 and Yasin Malik.
Look, Arnab, I have heard very big voices just now in your program. So far as I understand, I'm a lawyer and I try to understand the facts as they are. If you look at it, I did see a photograph of Yasin Malik and Hafiz Saeed. The photograph is that Yasin Malik is sitting in a blanket, probably on some fast.
So,
And it seems that Hafiz Saeed has visited that place.
really?
What I can make out of it. Now, very loudly it is being talked that there's a meeting between them. It's
Yes.
a public place where
Yes.
probably, rightly or wrongly, I don't justify even Yasin Malik sitting there on a fast.
Yeah.
But if he is sitting there on a fast, that is a issue to be taken in isolation. And further speaking very loud about it.
No, Mr. Mayor, no, one second. No, one second. He has gone there. No, let me tell you. Let me tell you the complete story. Let me tell you the complete story. He has gone there.
Yeah.
If you see the video, he picks up a mic. And I will tell you this, Aslam Ghori. I've decided editorially not to run what he has said. Because what Hafiz Saeed has said is pure poison. It is venomous. It says all kinds of things about the Indian state, about religions, about people, about people. One minute. And Yasin Malik was sitting there in silence and he looked on. He goes there to give him juice to give his fast after that. And we see this camaraderie going on.
Do you think by any chance a person of the nature of Hafiz Saeed, could Yasin Malik stop him talking something?
Oh my God.
See,
oh my God.
This is
Mahesh Jetpalani. No, it's a choice. Mahesh Jetpalani. What kind of an argument is this, sir? What kind of an argument is this?
I think on the part of Yasin Malik to sit on the
GD Bakshi
fast there is a different question.
You know,
but whatever Hafiz said,
sir, you are all, sir, you are all responding in a state of denial.
Make a larger point.
It will be a little too much.
There is no denial.
It will be little too much.
I'd like to state that there is a capitulationist lobby which has been trying to undo the work done by the Indian Army and security forces. You know, every year the Pakistani ISI used to maintain 3,500 to 400 terrorists in Jammu and Kashmir over the last 20 years. However many we killed, they sort of infiltrated that many number back. Then we built the defense on the LOC, curtailed drastically the infiltration levels. Today, there are just about 250 to 300 terrorists left in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Most of them are just trying to survive and hide. Now, despite this victory, there is this capitulationist lobby in the Indian state which has been trying to force to turn defeat, a victory into outright defeat. You know, we had the interlocutors talking of going back to the 1953 era, the pre-53 era.
Absolutely.
You know, all the sacrifices of our 10,000 soldiers would go totally waste, Arnab. And we have been propping up
General
these
Bakshi,
elements in our state.
why were the interlocutors? I'm sorry, I'll have to interrupt there. Why were the interlocutors? Why were the interlocutors in Kashmir in the first place? There is something that happened in 2010, and denying that will not change it. When you talk about law, when you talk about the morality of democratic
let me answer that.
And General Bakshi, very frankly, with all due respect to you, a lot of work done by the Indian security agencies in Kashmir has to be undone.
Really?
Because a lot of work they have done has contributed to grave human rights violations and a sort of
If you are talking of keeping the state of Jammu and Kashmir with the Indian Union, that will never get undone. You and I may get undone, that will not going to get undone. Let me be quite candid on that. But let me tell you, as far as the issue of 2008, 2009, 2010 is concerned,
I am not talking about
you raised the point. Can I just respond? No, can I respond?
Sure.
Can I respond?
Go ahead.
Look, I'd like to say this. Post the construction of the fence, the proxy war was, the back of the Tanzeems was broken. We were taken by surprise at that stage when the ISI tried to give it the air of an intifada with a new incitatory network that started the Amarnath Yatra agitation and the subsequent agitations from 2008 to about 2010. Let me tell you that incitatory
General
network
Bakshi, I
has
don't need
been
a defense
dismantled.
briefing on
And you will
Kashmir. I
see.
do not need a defense briefing on
Well,
Kashmir.
let me
And
give
you
you a
are
different
talking
briefing then,
about
Junaid.
Yasin Malik
Mr. Mattu, 1 minute, 1 minute, gentlemen, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. 1 minute.
By some political
1 minute,
leaders
1 minute,
for their
calm
own.
down. My question is, have you forgotten how many Kashmiris have been butchered by the Lashkar-e-Toiba? Mr. Mattu, have you forgotten what happened in Doda in 1996? 1 minute. 1 minute. Have you forgotten what happened in the Nandi Marg massacre of 2003? Have you forgotten the Delhi bombings? 1 minute. Have you forgotten the Delhi bombings?
What happened in
Have you forgotten the Delhi bombings?
Have you forgotten the summer
Have you
of
forgotten the
2010?
Delhi bombings? And have you forgotten what
As a
happened? Okay, I'll give you one example. I'm giving you one example.
Which has a courage
I am giving you one example.
We haven't forgotten
Listen
any
to one
human
example.
rights violations, but have you forgotten?
Let
when
me
a
share
Kashmiri
one
has been
example
killed?
with you. I'll tell you because, we need to go deep within and ask ourselves for what shocking reason do we need an endorsement from Hafiz Saeed of all people? I mean, the ISI is bad enough. My question is on January 31st, 2011.
Arnab,
Mr. Mattu.
Give me a second.
Mr.
Give me a
Mattu,
second.
take my question.
I will answer you. I will answer you. Let me take your question.
Take my question.
Hafiz Saeed, apparently, okay.
Take my
I'm
question.
answering what you've asked till now.
I'll give you one example, then you answer, and
Yes,
then I want to hear your answer after that. I want to know.
Okay. You have given me an example.
Yeah, I'm giving you.
Given me an example.
Yeah. Can I give you one example? No, I want
You have
one
already given
example.
me
I want
example.
one example. I want to know whether Yasin Malik
Sure.
has the courage to ask Hafiz Saeed that example. I want to know whether Yasin Malik will ask Hafiz Saeed that on January 31st, 2011, a 16-year-old girl called Arifa and an 18-year-old girl called Akhtara were dragged out of their one-room house in Sopore and killed. Akhtara took 4 wounds to her face and Arifa was shot in the chest. They were accused of being immoral because they used to roam around the market at dusk, laughing and chatting on their cell phones. This is something the Lashkar-e-Toiba took responsibility for. I want to know whether Hafiz Saeed, whether Yasin Malik, who talks about the Indian state, has the courage to confront Hafiz Saeed and ask him that I would not even share the stage. I would not be sharing the same air as a man who is responsible for something like this.
Sure. Now,
Has he asked that question?
You have in the veil of one. Yes. Let me answer that. Now.
Has he asked that
You've raised some
question?
very serious questions. Please let me answer. Yes. Let me answer. You have asked some serious questions. One of the questions is: Has Yasin Malik committed a wrong by sharing a dais with Mr. Hafiz Saeed? One, that question would be best answered by Mr. Yasin Malik.
Yeah, you're passing
Second,
it now.
it seems that Mr. Yasin Malik was there for a hunger strike and Mr. Hafiz Saeed has come there. Now, the Indian legal system is very sound. You've just executed Afzal Guru. 4 Kashmiris are dead. 7 million are imprisoned. You're very proud of your legal system. If you are so proud of your legal system, why don't you take action against Yasin Malik as per your law?
I'm simply asking, why are you getting so worked up? I'm simply asking a question on Yasin Malik because, so why am I asking this question? Because so far it was spoken about in, whispers, subterfuge, suggested, no proof. Now there's proof. The proof comes out, and the proof is as strong as this. And when the proof is as strong as this,
let the state consider
then you don't hide it. You don't hide the proof.
Consider it.
Can you hide this proof?
What I'm talking about is that in the realities of conflict, let me finish. In the realities of conflict, a lot of people
on your channel, and all the discussions every morning, I think that tomorrow morning the India is going to be perfect. And after that, I have seen all biggest stories dying their death. Your standard of proof, I am not going to take it as a standard of proof.
Mr. Aslam Ghani, Mr. Aslam Ghani, you can see the tape. You can see the tape for yourself. You can see the tape for yourself. Maruf,
no, I have seen the photograph. I can see one thing very clearly, that this is a place where Hafiz Saeed has visited. Now the question is whether Yasin Malik could have asked Hafiz Saeed that you leave this place.
Really?
See, let us be
And I don't know, 1 minute. Why are you fooling yourself, sir?
Not to make it
Why are
news,
you fooling
not
yourself,
to make
sir?
your channel
Sir, why are you
your-
fooling yourself, sir? You see, when 3 weeks back we put out the news report. Sir, please.
That this is
Sir,
because
please.
End of the day, all the things are going to die today.
Mr. Aslam
and
Ghani.
Tomorrow there will be a
Mr.
new
Aslam
India.
Ghani, I have a simple question. I have a simple question. Don't be...
And I'm sorry to say,
Mr. Aslam Ghani, Mr. Aslam Ghani, you know, you can try this, Mr. Aslam Ghani,
One simple question.
Mr. Aslam Ghani.
That as some other participant was saying that today in Kashmir, 3 boys have died already. 4 boys have died.
Mr. Aslam Ghani,
Ever mentioned
Mr.
about
Aslam
the
Ghani, let me tell you one thing. You are today clearly worried. I want to ask you. I expected today. No, 1 second. Since you have no answer to my questions,
We were coming out of this.
Mr. Ghani,
We were coming out of
Mr.
this
Ghani, why are you so uncomfortable?
Normalcy.
Why are you so uncomfortable with the reality which is being presented here?
Just be quiet on that.
Well, Mr. Aslam Ghani, you are not answering the question now. I'm going to have to move.
Word using meeting is
It's not a meeting.
It is not a meeting.
It's not.
It is not a meeting.
I'll tell you. Have you finished?
Either of them.
Have you finished?
I don't carry any brief from
Have you
either
finished,
them,
Mr.
but
Aslam
I would
Ghani?
request you that put the facts in a
Mr. Ghani,
in a straitjacket.
Mr. Ghani, fact of the matter is this. I don't think the American state would have allowed an American citizen, would it, Maruf, to go across, meet Osama bin Laden, sit on a protest with Osama bin Laden in a foreign country, hear the abuse against your own country.
Please don't,
1 minute, sir. Don't get worked up. The facts are uncomfortable, but they must be addressed. We want to know what is Yasin Malik's position on 2611. If he holds an Indian passport, he must tell us what his position on 2611 is. Maruf, please. Maruf.
On a
Please,
sir.
Yeah, Maruf.
Sir, there was one of the guests in the program today who talked about the fact that we are very proud of our legal system. Compare our legal system with that of Pakistan's. They have not been able to punish one person involved in acts of terror.
Why should I?
Sir, let him complete, sir.
Just let me speak, sir. Just let me speak. Now, you have said that, our legal system is not good enough. No legal system is perfect. In Pakistan, when judges have been asked to punish people involved in acts of terror, including the judge who had complete evidence about the killer of Salman Taseer, the judge either runs away or he disappears. At least here, the system goes by the rule of law. But remember also, sir, under the arrangements that exist in Jammu and Kashmir that gives you preferential treatment under the Indian Constitution of Article 370, the Supreme Court of India is supreme even in Jammu and Kashmir. So it is not my legal system and you don't have a different legal system. We all share the same legal system till Jammu and Kashmir becomes another state, if it ever does. Now the second point is that you people are constantly saying, what would Yasin Malik have done? Yasin Malik, the least he could have done if he supported the Indian point of view and didn't want to have any further interaction with Hafiz Saeed, he could have politely got up and asked himself to be excused and walked away. If he is sitting through it, that means in principle he is going along with Hafiz Saeed's diatribe against India. The third point, which again I would like to draw your attention to, that every time this whole issue is brought up, that Pakistan is not the person behind all the abuses that Kashmiris have suffered, but India is behind it. Sir, please look at it realistically. What are your choices? India, why isn't the other states of India complaining of ham-handedness on the part of Delhi? Why is only Jammu and Kashmir constantly complaining that India is unfair with Jammu and Kashmir? Do you see the state of affairs in Pakistan that anybody who's not a Punjabi Mussalman has no hope in hell in that country? They don't have financial worth in them to bail you out even if you're hoping to become a Switzerland tomorrow. They don't have a legal system that can punish people who harm and kill innocents. I can give you a whole list of things that Pakistan needs to measure up to become a half-decent democratic state like India. And still people in Jammu and Kashmir keep turning around and saying, all your problems lie with New Delhi. Don't some of your problems lie with your leaders who have constantly misled you? Do you want me to give you a list of things? Do you want me to give you a list, sir?
And how many times Shabnam
Can I
Loan?
reply to Mr. Raza?
No, and how many times Shabnam Loan? 1 minute, my question is to and how many times, according to Amnesty International, which human rights activists like to bandy about a lot, 249 activists, teachers, journalists and lawyers disappeared in 1 year between 2010 and 2011 in Baluchistan in what is described, what the Pakistan government does, are kill and dump operations. No, don't make a face, Junaid Bhattu. The fact is I haven't heard any Kashmiri separatist, pro-Pakistan separatist leader come and make a speech about what's happening in Baluchistan. Would Yasin Malik dare to? Would Yasin Malik dare to speak about Baluchistan in Islamabad? He wouldn't. He wouldn't care because that's not his industry.
About the fact, it's a question to you. Would you?
That's not his industry.
Since you are very great at Arnab, since you're very great at answering questions with questions, let me take your trait and tell me, will you dare to make it known on your channel that the entire state of Kashmir has been converted into a prison just because of your apprehensions? Just because of the fact
There
that
is absolutely no, you see, there is absolutely no need to. There is Mr. Mattu, just because
in a very selective frame of mind.
Mr. Mattu, you see, there is no reason to try and take it personally, because I don't respond personally beyond the point. I think you should know that by now. I am putting a straight question here, and we all know, and we have reported, and everybody knows there's a state of curfew in Jammu and Kashmir since Saturday. You are not putting out some new information here, which is a well-known fact. My question is to, at the same time, for the Indian state. My question is for the Indian state. My question is for the Indian state. I want to go to Mahesh Jethmalani. Mahesh Jethmalani is for the state at the end of the day. If we choose to deal with this with oversight.
Yes, it is. Arnab, I don't know why we are so surprised about what Yasin Malik has done, because if you look at his credentials and his history, this was only to be expected. I mean, the Indian government was fooling itself. This man had access to the Prime Minister of India, the President of Pakistan, and many heads of state. I mean, he's a self-confessed murderer of 4 Indian Air Force personnel in 1987. He's the founder of the JKLF. And one of the aims and objects of the JKLF is the independence of Jammu and Kashmir, whereas they say nothing about Pakistan-occupied Kashmir at all. Ultimately, this man was released from jail only on health grounds and on a deal made that any demands for Kashmir would be only on a bilateral basis with the government of India. Yep. Thereafter, he had access to the Prime Minister of India, and I'm sure he's used as an interlocutor. The interlocutors whom this government appointed.
Do we need such an interlocutor?
In the wake of what happened in 2010. Sorry?
Do we need such an interlocutor?
No, we certainly don't need an interlocutor. So when this man goes to Pakistan and sits on the stage with Hafiz Saeed, why are you surprised given his history, his credentials and his biography?
I am not surprised. I'm aware of his credentials, that in 1992 he was arrested on charges of receiving money from the ISI. In 2002 he was arrested on charges of related to Hawala transfers. I am aware of it. I am sure Junaid Mattu is also aware of it. But what I am asking here today is simply this, Shabnam Loan. The man has been caught red-handed. The secret is out. He's gone on an Indian passport. Last time we did not have visual evidence. Now there is visual evidence.
Arnab, I have a question. Arnab. I see this flicker. It constantly says, should India tolerate this?
Yes.
I ask you a question. Why is India tolerating this? You answer me this. I agree with you. He has gone on an Indian passport. Should normally not have been seen in the company of Hafiz Saeed. Now I am asking you a question. Why is India tolerating this? Can I, as a Kashmiri, tell them that you can't have a meeting? I repeat again, I come from the valley of a trapped destiny.
What would you say as an Indian? No, what would you... 1 minute. Shabnam Loan, you are an Indian citizen practicing in the country's highest court. I am sure that, I would like to hear from you today. What would you say as a citizen of India that when you sit next to a man who is responsible for the butchery of more than 166 innocents in 26/11. Should it not affect your conscience somewhere? No, it should not affect your conscience or anything as long as it keeps your internal cottage industry afloat.
No, you are right, Arnab. I'm agreeing with you. He is a man who has travelled on an Indian passport that has been issued by the Government of India. Now, Government of India must be aware of his activities in Pakistan.
Truly.
Otherwise, if you say that the Government of India is not aware of his activities in Pakistan, then you need to question the credentials of the Indian intelligence agencies. What are they doing? What are they paid for? And why is that after there is a scam in the country, that the country's highest courts have to tell the country's premier agencies, you go and inquire into the matter. Why is it that they are not aware about...
You're broad-basing the point, which is appropriate.
I agree.
Yeah.
Hafiz Saeed and Yasin Malik having a meeting in Pakistan is very dicey. I agree. But it is the Government of India which has to respond. Now, did you hear the response of the National Conference member, Mr. Aslam Ghani?
Yeah.
Now, he is saying that what could Yasin Malik do? He could not have told Hafiz Saeed to leave the dais. Now, on the other hand, you see what they did. They kept quiet when Afzal Guru was hanged, and I say the journey of justice for Afzal Guru was flawed. And I'm saying,
well, you know, let's not go up that street. I think we made it absolutely clear, even on Saturday here, that you may disagree with my opinion, but in the 392-page judgment that was given for S.A.R. Gilani, Shabnam Lone, you know absolutely well, don't pretend that you don't, that court judgment said that only on the basis of suspicion, you cannot convict. No, don't go up the Afzal Guru road again.
I am not bothered about
Fine, that's all right. Don't digress. Don't digress.
About S.A.R. Gilani.
No,
I'm not digressing.
Don't digress.
I'm not bothered about
don't digress.
I am bothered about the psyche of Kashmir.
I am asking you today, Shabnam Lone, tell me one question. I have one question for you. Who represents the youth and the people of Kashmir? A man who is responsible for the death of 9 innocents in the parliament attack? Or the person who topped India's civil services examination? You ask that question, and that is the answer that even the youth of Kashmir will tell you. Who represents the voice of the people of Kashmir? Certainly not Afzal Guru. Come on.
Now let me answer this, Arnab.
No, I'm remaining.
Not a normal place. Kashmir is not a normal place. It has been beset by many political storms, and these political storms has somehow overtaken the lives
of
the Kashmiris. Afzal Guru was one of those young men who got trapped,
General Bakshi, I still don't understand what that has to do. What that has to do with Yasin Malik and Hafiz Saeed. I don't think Hafiz Saeed is anyone who has anything to do with the Kashmir issue, apart from butchering many Kashmiris. Apart from butchering Kashmiris.
You have not answered my question.
What do you answer? What's your question? What is your question?
Why is India tolerating this?
Yeah, so that's the question I'm putting out. You're endorsing my question. Thank you very much.
Why is India tolerating this?
You're endorsing my question. I am also asking the question, should India tolerate this?
Why is India tolerating this?
I am asking you, every political party in the country.
Act in accordance with the law. You answer this question. Why is India tolerating
may I
this?
come in, please?
Revoke his passport.
It is very nice to see our Kashmiri friends trying to put the onus on the government of India. But they have been expressing their outrage, their value judgments on every case that concerns, the Indian army and the, human rights aspect of it. What is their personal viewpoint today? I haven't heard that outrage. The whole onus is shifted to the government of India. On this, as individual discussants, aren't you responsible to take a moral position? Where is that moral position?
Mr. Bakshi, let us have a debate which has some relevance. Now, pointing out passions which will lead us nowhere
is not really passions. It's a reality. It's an expose.
Now, the
passions will lead us to the truth.
Now, in Kashmir, peace is a process which really has to weather stormy weathers.
Really.
Peace is not easy. Peace is not easy. Now, only those who o'er the roar of life
yeah.
can withstand the majesty of peace.
Yeah, and thank
Do
you
you
for
think
that.
it is
Thank
so
you for
easy to
that.
have
But let
peace
me,
in-
no, thank you for that. That sounds fantastic. It is very well phrased. I must compliment you for that. But if Yasin Malik is under a delusion that the ambassador of peace is the Lashkar-e-Toiba chief, Hafiz Saeed, then he must surely get his facts straight. He must examine himself before he comes to such a conclusion. So he's sitting there on a hunger strike and
That is for Yasin Malik
getting
to
a glass of
decide. I
orange
can't
juice from
speak for
Hafiz Saeed.
Yasin
It's not
Malik,
farcical,
Arnab.
it's cruel.
Arnab, I can't speak for Yasin Malik. That is for Yasin Malik to decide.
I don't know. I'm going back to Mahesh
speak for-
Jetmalani one more time. No, the onus is certainly for action this time. The onus is for action this time.
Of course there is. Look, Arnav, you can say that all our Kashmiri guests on this program are ambivalent on the issue, but the real question really is, why has the government of India mollycoddled and indulged Yasin Malik all these years? That is the real question.
Yeah.
And more importantly, what are they going to do now with this flagrant act of treachery of going and sharing a stage, consciously or unconsciously? And if he didn't know Hafiz Saeed was coming, he should have got up, dissociated himself and walked away.
Yes.
What is the Indian state now going to do about this conduct?
We have to look at that.
Clear
And
your ambivalence and ambiguity. Let me clear the ambivalence and ambiguity. I want to make certain points. One is the issue of Mr. Yasin Malik sharing a dais with Mr. Hafiz
that is
Saeed.
the only subject.
We condemn what's happened in Bombay. Yes, let me address that question. We condemn what happened in Bombay. It was one of the gravest violations of the sanctity of life.
Yeah. And I know what you'll say after the but.
And we will always condemn
I know
that.
what you'll say after the but.
There is no but. Let me complete. Let me complete. There is
I
no
thought you
but.
were about
There
to
is absolutely no but.
Yeah.
No, I will not. There is no but.
Good.
Since we speak of everything that happens between India and Pakistan, invariably, in the context of what is happening in Kashmir, my friends in Delhi might grudge me and tell me, why are you talking about Kashmir? The reason for that, Arnab, is that when we look at your inflexible high morality on issues such as these, we cannot help but think with disdain. Why is your morality, one, so idealistic, and second, so selective? Why does it stop at the
The answer is very simple. You asked a very good question, and now I will give you the answer.
I'm talking about idealism.
Yeah, I'll ask you. You asked me a very good question.
This conflict.
You asked me a very good question, and I will give you the answer.
One more question. Did Sheikh Abdullah not meet with people which would be ideologically unpalatable in retrospect?
This is not
Did
a
Farooq
personal...
Abdullah not ever meet with Makbul Bhatt?
Yeah, now I'll tell you one thing.
But they are your darlings. They are your darlings. They are your darlings.
You see,
they are your darlings.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mattu. You have some grave misconceptions. My answer is in two parts. First, about morality and idealism. I completely believe in morals, and I think there's nothing wrong in being idealistic. A second part of your question is that please, I don't think Hafiz Saeed is an intellectual or an ideologue, that you should have an ideological difference with him. Hafiz Saeed is simply a globally acknowledged terrorist. And I will send you the list of the United Nations 1267/1989 Al-Qaeda Sanctions Committee, which lists everything about Hafiz Saeed. So he is not an intellectual, so it's not somebody with you ideological indifference. I may have an ideological difference with you.
If he is, in fact,
with you.
if he is...
I can have an ideological difference with you. You don't have an ideological difference with a terrorist. That's the point.
If Hafiz Saeed is involved in Mumbai, if Hafiz Saeed is involved in acts of terror, he should be brought to the book.
There is no if there. He is.
To the law.
There is no if.
No if.
There is no if.
Let the law take its
Take back
course.
the if.
Let the law take its course.
There is no if. There is an Interpol. There is no if. There is an Interpol red corner notice. There is an Interpol red corner notice against him. There is a US Department of Treasury note. He has a specially designated individual under the executive order of 13224. There is no if. He's a terrorist. Period. You don't treat a terrorist like an ideologue. He's not
the organization which he heads.
Yes, Mr. Jetmalani. Yes, Mr. Jetmalani.
Like an ideologue.
Yes, Mr. Jetmalani saying something to you, Mr. Mattu.
Not just Hafiz Saeed, the organization which he heads, LET, has been declared by the UN and the US to be a terrorist organization.
And in April 2012, the United States of America, with which many Hurriyat leaders have close associations and they like to quote, announced a bounty of $10 million on Hafiz Saeed the founder of the Lashkar-e-Toiba. So these are terrorists. They are not heading ideological organizations. These are terrorists with a capital T. What is Yasin Malik doing? Of course, at the end of the day, I agree, it's the Indian state which has to act. It's the state. The onus is on the state. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for debate number 1. Thank you.